Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Linda Baas McClelland.
And of course this is...
It's Movie Time!
All right, Linny.
Yes,
the movie is Hell or High Water, starring Jeff Bridges, Chris Pine, and Ben Foster.
Mm-hmm.
And this is NPR, and we are full disclosure here. Linda's review today will be compromised seriously by her connections with the film. What are those?
I'm trying to be very objective, and I will be. My son he's a cameraman, and he was on the second camera assistant. And
what's his name?
Daniel Baas.
Thank you.
And his partner, Tara Day, is a very well-known makeup artist for Jeff Bridges, and she's been nominated for Oscars and Emmys and won several things. So they're family members, and so this is the first time I've seen a film that they were both involved in, and I was like over the moon excited about it.
You all should have been with us when Daniel Baas's name showed up.
I know, I think I jumped out and started
and
pointing at the screen like
yeah.
a fool, like a typical mother.
Well, but this is personal. Our audience is interested in this new independent film, and whether it's a good film or not. And
yeah, I think, well, after all the summer movies seem to be remakes or about superheroes, this is the first film. I mean, it's an original story, and it has interesting characters that have real depth, even though they don't say much.
They're typically laconic. This is West Texas.
It's a Western chase movie.
This is the hotbed of film noir for the West. And it's modern. And these two guys, the brothers, Pine and Foster, are pulling heists.
Yes, they do. The opening, excuse me, the film begins with the robbery of the Texas Midland Bank. And you can almost feel the heat hovering
Can't
over
you? Now
the dusty, small street and the little tiny bank. The robbers, the two brothers, played by Chris Pine and Ben Foster.
And so some of that impression is Giles Nutkin's cinematography,
exactly.
Which means Dan Baas was helping him.
Yes.
So but you are so right. I mean, it is dusty, dry.
You can almost feel how hot it is.
The visual just portrays the poverty of the place.
Oh, yeah.
It's like everything that's nourishing is sucked out of it.
Exactly.
It's beautiful cinematography.
It's hard to even breathe.
Yes.
But Chris Pine and Ben Foster, the brothers, they take only the loose bills in the bank from the registers, and they go on to do the same thing at another branch of Texas Midland. And the robberies continue. And what's going on here? And we learn during the course of the movie that Texas Midland has foreclosed on their family ranch.
And this is one of the things that I like about this movie is it's not just about some little place in Texas. It's also about poverty on a much larger scale. That is, we've always in Westerns had the banks as the bad guys.
Right.
But here they're seriously attacking the impoverished and legally going after their property. Now, on the property that they're trying to save, their mother just died, is oil.
Right.
And so there's salvation for them if they can do this right.
But the brothers think if they come up with a clever plan to use the money they steal from the bank to pay the debt, then they can get their ranch back, which I think is a pretty good idea.
Well, all of this sounds pretty good. In fact, there's a motif of being smart or being stupid in the film, and they mention, don't be stupid, you're stupid, or you're not stupid. But the old Texas Ranger, played by Jeff Bridges, who's about ready to retire. That's, of course, a cliche.
Right.
There are always these in Texas already ready to retire. But he's still whip smart, and he's figured it out.
Right, but the robberies don't attract his attention until the twitchy brother Tanner tries to pull a heist off on his own, which is so funny because he's running to the car and bills are flying through the air. Then Texas Marshal Marcus Hamilton, played by one of my favorites, Jeff Bridges.
You got it.
And he's, like you said, he's about to retire, and this is his very last case. He sees the robberies might be the result of careful planning. He kind of sees through all this. And this is the turning point in the film, I think. The movie starts to get very dark when the brothers visit a casino and they start to put their plan into action.
Ingenious money laundering. Bring their money in, change it for chips.
Right.
In the end, go back and
they
get a check.
They get a check made out to the bank.
Very cool.
I thought it was very brilliant. I really did.
And Bridges had figured this out. Now, it doesn't take you much if you've seen Ben Foster before, 310 to Yuma and other, to know that he plays a nut job. He can play the nut job better than anybody else.
And unlike his brother, he has served time in jail.
Oh, right. His brother's a good boy. Chris Pine, as you could imagine, with those baby blue eyes and a demeanor that, a little bit like The Finest Hours, the captain of that ship. He knows how to downplay.
Right.
And he actually keeps his head low through
definitely.
most of the film because of his past mistakes for which he's trying to make up now.
Right.
So Pine does a very nice subtle job.
He's very convincing.
But nobody, simply nobody, can outdo Jeff Bridges.
Oh, no. Well, I don't think this is one of his most memorable roles. Watch Crazy Heart if you want to see him.
Well, yeah.
Really, really good.
And, you know, his True Grit with the Coen brothers is really his over-the-top lawman.
Yeah. I even like, there was an actress, her name is Kate Mixon, and she plays this the waitress in the little restaurant where they have lunch. And Toby, played by Chris Pine, leaves her a huge tip. And, of course, the marshal comes in and asks for the money. And she really shows a lot of spunk the way she deals with Marshal Hamilton.
Similarly, don't you think the old guy who's there, the old codger who eventually shoots at them as they're leaving?
Golly,
because this is vigilantes. This is Texas.
Yeah, everybody's got a gun.
Prior to the open carry, this film was probably made prior to the open carry law, which was recently enacted. But it still has that same sense of these boys are ready for action.
Everybody's got a gun, that's for sure.
Only to be outdone by that cameo performance by the older lady as the waitress.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, you need to go just to see that.
Yeah, there was 2 things on the menu and nothing else was offered.
Right, what don't you want?
Yeah, it was steak and potatoes.
And then I think Bridges just very, very calmly says, nobody gonna rob this place with her there.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
So, you know, I think what we're revealing here is one of the things I really love about this is there's a sense of low-key humor.
Yes.
Particularly in the beginning, you're right. It gets dark.
It's very dark
naturally
later on.
it does. Yeah.
But yeah, the dialogue is very clever, even though there's not much of it. But at one point, Hamilton remarks when he's investigating a robbery in one of the banks, "Now that looks like a man who could foreclose on a house."
Oh, that's great! What a great line! He sees this rotund banker.
Right.
So there are many good quips and lines. Look at this film. Perhaps isn't at the level of No Country for Old Men.
No.
But it is, I think, very fine film noir, modern. What elevates this at the performances. The performances are astonishingly good.
So good. And even I'm looking for the part. Jeff Bridges has a partner who is a Comanche Indian.
Alberto, played by Gil Birmingham.
Right, as his deputy. And the conversations that they have back and forth are so clever. But you see that they are very close.
Well, don't you think this is a parallel, of course, to the brothers?
Yes.
So you have two different guys, 2 sides of the law.
Yeah.
And both of them are affectionate, but they do it. They do it in the way that, I don't know.
Right.
I was to say some.
Which means a lot. I thought that relationship was very, very interesting.
And Bridges' character constantly taunts his partner.
Yeah.
About his being a half-breed, Indian and Mexican.
Yeah.
And he tells him, when I get through with the Indian, I'll start on the Mexican, but that'll be a while.
Yeah, right.
He says, but they're so affectionate with each other.
Right.
It is, you're right. It is great. Maybe even better than the brothers.
Right. Definitely. And again, the movie turns very tragic in the end.
And it was moving that way, you're right.
Yeah.
But it does, I think, resonate with the contemporary times, with people who are just struggling against a system that is not made for them.
That was one of the best things about the cinematography is it captures this beautiful, barren, deadly landscape, this dusty area of the West, and we see dying towns and deserted strip malls, all symbols of this tragic
Yes.
economic decline.
Yeah.
And you really, really get, and it almost becomes a character of its own, the camera work.
I just can't shut you up today, can I, there,
I know,
Lenny?
I'm sorry, John.
No, this is excellent. But we do have to bring it to a close.
Okay,
Linda Baas McClelland.
yes, sir.
Linda Baas McClelland. The movie is Hell or High Water. What grade would you award it?
Well, I'm going to be objective.
Oh,
For me, it was really good, but the ending was a bit contrived for me. I wanted more resolution,
okay.
so I'm going to give it a B.
All right. And your partner here is going to give it an A. I think it is a memorable noir. And who knows if this isn't colored by the camera work of Daniel Baas and the makeup artistry
Of Tara Day.
of Tara Day.
Yay.